That's better.
That's better?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Too much?
No, that's about right. Okay, are we going to do the book thing? What's your thoughts?
I'll kind of introduce what I want to talk about, I think.
Perfect, yeah.
As, just kind of react to it.
What I'm thinking is go through and do it, and I'll probe you with questions to expand on things.
How you feeling this
we'll try it, see if it works.
Oh, I think it's going to be fine. I think it's going to be just fine. Dr. Tom Chumley, and we have here
Dr. JD Castle.
And today, I just wanted to review a few things. First of all, I want to talk about, just as an introductory podcast, a little bit about history, why that's important, why we should even have that discussion at all. A little bit about wisdom.
Okay.
Kind of get into what I wanted to talk about, which is power, dealing with that. And kind of, I have this idea, which I've synthesized over many years. I just wanted to introduce that idea and just kind of take it from there and just move along.
Excellent. I'm curious to know what that is.
So let me maybe I can throw it at you at first.
Okay.
History. Why is anything in history important to you at all? Do you care about history?
Oh, absolutely. Besides being fascinating, it's, hindsight, they always say, is 20/20. Fascinating when you see things like the wars that took place and you understand the logic, the reasoning, and why it took place. But to me, though, the most significant thing about history is the fact it's a learning experience. If you make the same mistake over and over again, you're really called a fool. People that really move down the path are people who make mistakes and they learn from them. And that's the best way to learn. History is a record of all of our accomplishments and all of our mistakes. And since we're all human and have human nature, we all have the same tendencies. It would be nice to be able to have a reference book when we start to do something and say, that didn't really work out that well. And have to try something else so it would have value.
Or, I could not have said that any better. I really appreciate your thoughts on that. And also on the positive side, there are things throughout history that, it's really hard to find out. It's really hard to collect. So, for example, we've talked offline a little bit about, well, what if you, JD, had to come up with the calendar? And you were stuck in the situation when people first started developing the calendar. You didn't have a telescope. You didn't have knowledge that the planets go in a spherical pattern. There's just a lot of things to put in the calendar together that once you get that information, you don't want to lose it. So there's positive things too, just not, there's the negative, there's mistakes you've made and you don't want to do that again, right? History repeating itself. Yes. Fool me once, fool me twice. And then there's the positive aspects of things that we've learned that are very hard to learn and come at great cost. Sometimes, if we're talking about some things in history, we're talking about wars fought, people's lives, people doing experimentation on government and power and things like this. And once you collect that information and you have it and you know what works better, you don't want to lose that, in my view.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. So history is important.
Okay, let's switch over to wisdom. What is it? What is wisdom?
Wisdom is a perspective based on knowledge, experiences, and other people's experiences, observation, and making wise choices. Wise, wisdom, pretty much the same word. You have to it's not living in the moment and making spontaneous reactionary decisions. It is taking the time to contemplate and make the best decision.
Very good, very good. I often think of wisdom as the effective best, use the word best, the most appropriate or proper use, application of knowledge. So you have knowledge, you can't have wisdom.
I like that, yeah.
Without knowledge.
Yes.
Right, so you have to have that knowledge as a base, but then you can know something. You can know that it's better to save money for your future.
Yes.
And not do it. So that knowledge doesn't help you if you don't have a proper application of that knowledge. So
I like that. So you're saying wisdom is the application of the best application of knowledge.
yes.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And wisdom itself, the word, philosophy is philo, the love, Sophie of wisdom. So that's what the whole concept of philosophy is. And so I'm a bit of a philosopher. I'd love to read at least what people have said over time and whether it's good or not.
It's fascinating how smart those people were thousands of years ago.
Yeah, very. And we can rely on that information, going back to the history thing. So we can go back to what some of these people said a long time ago, and it is just amazing what some of these people said and knew. I mean, the use of the word atom, we think of that as very recent history, and that goes back to ancient Greece. So
really,
yes, sir. So there's a lot of things that we can gain from their thinking things through. Okay, so the topic I wanted to talk about a little bit today, and thank you for letting me talk about my topic. I'm really eager to kind of get this out.
Good.
So
excellent.
I really appreciate that. Is dealing with power.
I want to say thank you very much for listening. This is our very first podcast, so we hope that you will bear with us as we learn the technical aspects of recording audio, video, editing, and all of that fun stuff. Thank you so much. Without you, we would not continue to do this. So please hit like, subscribe. Our next podcast is going to be on the subject of power. So we are interested in talking about knowledge and wisdom. Generally is what our podcast is about. And our very next podcast is specifically on power, which is something that the founders of the United States of America talked about quite a bit among each other and in the Constitution. It occurs quite a few times. I think it's somewhere on the order of 54 or 55 times, I believe I counted, that the Constitution either specifically states power or alludes to it. So it's a subject that they were concerned about, and perhaps a subject that you might be interested in. If you want to let other people know that this is potentially good content, please hit the like button. If you want to continue to get videos from us, hit the subscribe button so that when new content becomes available, you can also see that. Speaking of next content, the very next podcast we are doing is concerning power. We hope that you will enjoy that as much or more as this very short and first podcast. Again, thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.